Every woman has a unique story, and as a journalist, I want to share with you some of the most inspiring ones. I'm Sarah Strackhouse, and this is The Strack House. Yes, thank you for joining us in our house where you can feel like you're not alone because someone else has gone through something similar and is using that to now help others. We're so excited to introduce you to Carlyn Hudson, who is the founder of Silent Screams, Inc., which is an organization that's focused on helping those who are victims of sex crimes to get hope, to get their voice back, and to also find resources. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. So first I want to talk about that name. I mean, Silent Screams, that is just the irony behind that. I love it. Can you tell me a little bit about where that came from?
That came from my history, because I was a silent screamer. I've gone through multiple assaults, and I said nothing. I was silent, but when you're silent, when you go through trauma, you are screaming on the inside. You are screaming for help, but you are afraid to get help. You don't know who to trust, where to go, what to do. So when I spoke up, that name came to my mind because there are so many silent screamers out there. There are so many silent victims out there, and they take their pain to the grave.
Tell me about when you finally did speak up and what that was like, releasing that scream.
When I finally spoke, I was angry. I was frustrated. In 2008, I was assaulted by an elder of the church that I attended who had full-blown AIDS.
Wow. And
I said, not again. I said, oh God, not again. Because the last time I was assaulted, I was 23 years old.
Wow.
I think I was 23 years old. The last time I was assaulted was like 35 years prior. And I knew that because my son was 35 years old. And I was assaulted when I was pregnant, and I had to have the baby early.
Wow.
Yeah. So I remember I said 35 years, God, 35 years. When is this going to stop? I have to speak up. I have to say something. I can't let it go on, because if I don't say anything, it will keep happening. So I spoke up.
How did it feel when you spoke up? And I know you actually sent him to prison.
He's in prison now.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did that feel?
When they convicted him, that felt so good.
Yeah.
It felt empowering. When you do speak up, you are taking your power back. You are taking yourself back. Whether you win the case or not, whether you go to court or not, but the fact that you were strong enough to speak up, because many don't, they are afraid, they feel somebody's going to say something about them, they feel guilty, they put the blame on themselves, they think about, what is the church going to say, what is my job going to say, so they keep quiet. But when you get that strength to open your mouth, it's the most amazing thing. And it's like, I got my power back. No matter what happens. Most of the time, when someone does speak, many times they will go to court. Many times they don't. The assailants let go because there is not enough evidence. But that does not change what has happened to you. And when you speak up, it is worth it, because you get yourself back.
And you've also given people a voice to speak up through your radio show.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? I know you were on the air for a year and a half and took a little bit of a break, but tell me a little bit about why you created that show and what was so important about it.
Silent Scream Speaks is the name of my radio show. I love it. I love it. I created that for a couple of reasons. One is because I wanted to give survivors a platform to tell their story, to speak up. The other reason was I wanted to give them resources, because we have a list of resources, but I also wanted to let them know that there is a community out there that will stand with them. There's a community out there that will be there for them. There are so many services and so many resources out there for survivors of sexual assaults, men and women. There's so much out there, but when you're silent, you don't know. You keep it to yourself. But when you speak up, the community just comes running to you, and they want to help you, and they will tell you about housing, about an attorney, about a support group, about therapy, whatever you need. Yeah. It's out there. That is why I started it. I wanted to be a little voice. I wanted to do what I could do to help them.
I love that. Truly an outlet for people.
Yes.
So tell me, why do you think it's so much easier for people to maybe call in rather than just go seek support by themselves?
Because they don't want people to know who they are.
The anonymity about it.
Yes. And that is why it is a radio show.
Yeah.
Because you can say anything on the phone. You can speak anything on the phone. Sometimes when a survivor comes to the studio, they're still nervous.
Yeah.
They're still nervous, but they get over it. And they always say, I'm so glad I did this.
And
I feel better.
And I'm sure talking to you really helps calm their nerves and make them feel like they're not alone.
Yes, I can tell sometimes when someone's real nervous. One of these survivors was so nervous, but do you know now she speaks internationally?
Wow.
She speaks internationally now.
Wow. Are there any other highlights you want to showcase from the radio show that you're excited for people to know if they haven't heard it before?
Highlights from the radio show or from those that call?
Yeah, from those who call.
I have this precious woman. She called in and she needed help so bad. She was so desperate. And I didn't know how desperate she was until later. And I recommended a support group. I recommended an attorney. I recommended certain places. One of the things, sometimes when I recommend agencies and services, the caller does not go. This one went. I went to a play a couple of months later, and she was there.
Wow.
And she knew who I was. And she came and she hugged me. She cried and she cried and she cried. The next time I saw her, I didn't recognize her. Her whole countenance changed.
Wow.
I didn't know who she was, because her face was brighter. She was happier. She was just light. And she said, she spoke at this event, and she said that she called silent screams. She was so desperate. She said, I'm going to call this one place, and if nobody picks up, that's it.
Wow. She
was suicidal.
Wow.
She was suicidal. And she called, and I picked up. That I will never forget.
That's incredible.
I will never forget. And that is what we do.
Yeah.
That is what we do. But the resources, they have to use them.
Yep.
Don't just take the information down. You have to use the resource. You have to trust somebody at some time.
But even just calling you and being able to get another person on the phone,
yes.
and I'm sure that was so helpful for her next step forward.
Yes.
I mean, that's incredible. If people want to find out more information, if they want to see any past shows or they want to learn more about you, what is your website?
My website's www.silentscreams, with an S, the number 4, help, HELP.org.
Okay,
Or,
perfect.
Or they can just Google silent screams INC. You got to put that INC in there
Okay.
because there
Or
are
else you
so
get a
many
couple
silent,
bands, yeah.
silent screams.
Yeah.
But you've got to put that INC.
Perfect.
And we do come up.
Okay.
We do
Well,
come
Carolyn, I have one more question for you. If I knew you better, what would I ask you? And it's kind of a weird one, so take a minute if you need to.
It is a weird one.
Yeah.
If you knew me better, are you coming as a victim or just a person? Or you're not going to answer me. I just have to answer that question. If you knew me better, what would you ask me? I don't know. What makes me happy? What is your passion?
Tell me, what's your passion?
If you knew me better, if you didn't know me, you would probably say, "What is your passion?" If you knew me, you would say, "How do you keep doing this?"
So tell me, how do you keep doing it?
This? How do you keep doing this? It's really faith. It is easier for me, especially after the health issue, for me not to do anything at all, but my heart is for survivors, whether they're male or female. I can't just sit here and do nothing when I have so much resources and I have so much knowledge, and I pain when they pain. I hurt when they hurt. I connect with them.
Right.
And I know that I can make things better if they just take the tools and do them.
I love that.
Yeah, that is my passion.
Well, if someone's watching right now, if you want to look at the camera and talk to them and they are scared to speak out, what would you tell them right now?
I would say, I understand. I was scared. I was scared for years. My first assault was when I was age 2. And the last one was when I was age 58. I understand. But you have to take yourself back. When you live in fear, you are paralyzed. It freezes you from doing things you would normally do. It affects your physical body. It affects your mental. Speak out. There's somebody there that will listen. You need a safe place to speak, and that is what Silent Screams is. We are a safe place. You can't talk to everybody because everybody's not going to understand, but you find somebody that you can tell what happened to you, and you speak to them, and they will guide you to the proper places. It is empowering. You become stronger. You become more confident. Speak out.
I love that. Powerful. Thank you so much, Carolyn, for coming on and for helping others who are struggling.
Thank
in
you.
all that you do.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for watching. Really, really strong words. And of course, we will put all of our information in the captions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Strack House to find more empowering, inspiring stories just like this one. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. If you'd like to nominate an inspiring woman, email me at sarahstrackhouse@gmail.com. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.